24 hours after Ukraine's vast assault on Russian airbases, there was no polite small talk ahead of today's peace talks. The Russians hiding their horror and the Ukrainians their glee that within the space of a few minutes, £5 billion worth of weaponry had been set alight. This was how the Ukrainians carried out their extraordinary assault. Drones had been smuggled into Russia and hidden in cargo on trucks. The trucks were then parked by 4 air bases and the drones released. This was the result. 41 Russian planes hit, including early warning aircraft and the strategic bombers which have attacked Ukraine over the past years. The Ukrainians say they hit 34% of the Russian strategic bomber fleet. President Zelenskyy told allies in Vilnius the operation had been 18 months in the planning. He stopped short of saying the attack will go down in history, but it will.
We also talked about our operation inside Russia, which has seriously weakened their military. Operation Spiderweb showed that modern war really looks like and why it's so important to stay ahead with technology.
However, the impact on the day-to-day reality of war is limited, and Russian attacks continue to take military and civilian lives. This weekend saw the greatest air assault of the war so far, and Ukrainians are braced for retaliation for the airbase strikes. The talks in Turkey are in theory an attempt to bring the war to an end, but show little sign of doing so. Both sides presented their proposals for peace, but the unconditional ceasefire proposed by the Americans and supported by the Ukrainians was not forthcoming. The Russians proposing a short ceasefire in parts of the front line, which will be subject to further discussion. However, there was agreement on which prisoners could be swapped.
Severely sick, severely wounded prisoners of war, also the young soldiers, 18 to 25 years, the youth that needs to be home, not in captivity, and the return of the bodies of the fallen soldiers.
There have been huge losses in this war. Operation Spider's Web was Ukraine's moment to humble its Russian adversary.